I can tell you that I pay for myself on my end because of the way I negotiate and the way that I present the property. Also, if you take on a lower agent who's doing lower commission, remember, they're offering you lower commission because which remember, 5% is standard. If they're giving you 3.5 or 4% and they're not really including much, let me ask you a question. How do you think that if they can't negotiate their standard rate and the only way that you're picking them is because they're basically giving you a cash incentive to say, hey, use me. Now let's step back here. If someone's only giving me a cash incentive, that means that they can't compete with someone on that level. So they have to incentivize you on saving money and using less, but you're not getting the same result. And also, when you get a low offer, what do you think that they're going to say? They're going to say you should take it. Where if I get a low offer, I'm going to say, well, I don't think that this is a great offer. I mean, here's the comps in the area. Here's what I suspect. Here's the finishes that we have compared to the last recent comps. And this is why we are getting this money. Hey, if you're tight on your budget, no problem. Maybe you're not the buyer for us. Thanks for everyone for tuning in today. So before for people that are new, I just kind of go through wins, what are some harder, what are, some problems, maybe that some agents are facing just because there's so much things going on just before you get to that phone call or when you're trying to prospect for that phone call. Or even once you get on the phone call, what happens? There's so many little wins that everyone's in different spots here. So, this is just a safe space just to make sure that we're all growing, learning, and at the end of the day, getting deals done. So I'll go off with any wins that anyone had this week. Did anyone have some great calls? Did anyone have some aha moments? I'd love to hear what everyone's doing. No one's winning?
Hey. I guess I'll speak in that regard, Nick.
Sure.
Yeah, just in terms of calls, I heard a few people saying that they were new. Obviously, I am as well. I think about a week in. But yeah, for me, that moment was honestly just the fact that I saw 2 calls being booked, which are offered today.
Beautiful.
So that's amazing. Other than that, I haven't really done much, but that's really exciting to see that actually people are booking those calls.
100%. The AI really does a good job with that. And even some of the some random things that people say, it pretty much spits out some pretty good answers right away. And that's the thing with chatting with prospects. It's the faster you get to them, the faster you win, right? Because they're motivated, they're ready to chat, and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's great to hear. So now, if you don't mind me asking, Azim, where are you from? Are you in Toronto? Are you in the States?
No,
Hamilton. Okay, cool. So the reason why I'm asking is because when you're booking these appointments now that you have people to talk to, what are you doing prior to the call?
So these 2 specific ones that I referred to is just kind of the lead came in and I looked, the calls were already booked via AI, right?
But what are you doing before the call though? So yeah, you have someone to talk to, which is amazing. But what are you doing to get ready before that call?
Oh, you mean before I have a conversation with them?
Yes. But so your call's at 1:00. What are you doing at 12:45?
For sure. Yeah. So actually, one of them is at 11:30. I already started looking at the area, neighborhood, home ownership. Try to get a feel for it. The good thing is that they're within my city, so I know the area. The other one, when I did my due diligence, unfortunately, I found out that they already had it listed. So one call is going to be scratched out of the schedule, but still going to be able.
Are they listed now in the market, or they came off the market?
Yeah, they are. No, they're already listed with another agent.
Okay, so I wouldn't. So this is great for anyone who's listening. If they did that, I wouldn't scratch that one out. I'll tell you why. How long has that one? Did they just list, or have they been on the market for a bit?
It's been in the market for about a month and a half.
So this is a beautiful lead. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because they're frustrated with their agent, or they're frustrated with the market. Maybe their agent oversold the property at a higher price point. They're not getting showing. Now they saw our link and now they booked a time to chat with you. So this could be, and this is a lead that's already on the market, ready to go. That one is a really good lead just because they're coming out to get another opinion. You're the second opinion. So if you nail that conversation and you do a great job, then dude, you might be able to get them to terminate and they're listing with you now.
But am I still within that safe zone in order to do that?
Bro, they reached out to you.
That is true. That actually is
so this is the thing, right? I'm not here to step on other people's toes. But when someone reaches out, obviously when someone's in contract, we can't call that person, okay? Like if,
Hundred
without
percent.
them reaching out to us. The only way that we can have this conversation and still be fine is if they reach out to us, which they're
Which they
reaching
did.
out to you. Exactly.
Yeah, phone,
So
phone number, email, address, everything.
exactly. So, and they booked a time to chat with you. So, like, they're not happy with their agent. So, a few things that I would be doing, and this is great for anybody who has this opportunity. Okay. Number one, don't write off every lead. You could be surprised. Even there's leads that I feel like, when they're getting booked appointments or whatever, they feel fake. Dude, honestly, sometimes those are the great ones. I'm telling you. So, in
Nice.
this case here, I would study the listing. So I would look at, okay, did they do good photos? Did they do good staging? How are they priced in terms of what
All, all,
market value
yeah,
is?
already I can tell based on the house and the neighborhood they're overpriced.
For
Hundred
sure.
percent.
But how was the photos? The staging was good? Did they have
Yeah.
staging?
Yes.
Was it good staging or was it just because like every realtor says staging, but it's not sometimes good
No,
staging?
it was decent. I
Okay.
wouldn't say like
Okay. Now the agent there, did he or she do a lot of deals? Or is it
yes,
kind of like a
yes.
one-off?
No, they do decent deals.
Okay. So if it's someone that's doing a lot of deals, maybe, they're not. So you have to find their pain point. So when you chat with
Mm-hmm.
them, this is what I would be saying, right? And this is great for anyone who has this information. So it's like, the script goes like this, right? Like this is what I'll do, and I'll play one of my calls afterwards. But basically, I just essentially go, "Hey, Azim, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me today. I've done some homework on my end, but I'd love to know a little bit more about, your process because I see that currently you're listed on the market with somebody, which is totally cool. But I just wanted to
Right.
ask, how's that going? Like, are you getting showings? Are you trying to just get a second opinion? And
Mm.
something like that,
Yeah.
right? See what they say. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're on the market, but maybe we're not getting the traction we wanted, and all that stuff." So I would say no problem at all. I totally understand. Well, here, let me give you some of my opinions of about the area. So essentially, I see that you guys bought it whenever you bought it. So they probably bought it, let's say 5 years ago. I see that you bought it 5 years
Yeah.
ago. It looks like you've done some renovations there. But can you tell me, have you done any other upgrades or changes in the house since you own the property? Right? Get them talking, get them comfortable with you, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't even have to say you're on the market right away. You can lead in with this so you can get them talking, right? So then
True.
you get a little bit more sense and be like, yeah, so, since I've done my homework, I saw that your house was built in this year, let's say 2001. I see that you did purchase back 5 years ago. And now, I do see it on the marketplace. If you don't mind me asking, how's the traction that you're getting? Are you getting showings? I've seen that you've been on the market for 45 days. To be honest, you have a
Right.
really great house. I was kind of shocked that you're on the market for this long, but, if you don't mind me asking, how are you feeling about being on the market? See what their pain points
Mm.
are. What you're trying to do right now is find their pain points, right? Yeah, and we're not really getting too many showings. The real estate agent said this is the right strategy, but I don't really feel like it is. We're kind of getting frustrated with the holiday seasons coming over in the next 4 weeks. We want to get this done, or we might just wait till
Yeah.
next year. So
Makes sense.
so at that point, you just go, "Hey, I'm so sorry to hear that. Listen, at the end of the day, house for sale, is an emotional point." Let me ask you a question. Has your agent been really responsive to you? When there are showings happening, are they following up with feedback? If there's not any showings, are they giving you a market report? Are they giving you some sold listings or what's coming onto the market? Because what you want to do is you want to show service, right? They already got the
Yes.
listing. So right now, if they're coming
Yeah.
up to you, they're having second thoughts, possibly. So what you
True. No,
want to
that
do
makes
is,
sense.
yeah,
I didn't
so
even take a look at it from that angle.
100%. So what you want to do is you want to find out specifically where the pain points are. And then,
Mm.
let's say, in this scenario, the pain points are, "Hey, well, you know what? Like, yeah, they're not really giving us feedback. We don't really know what's going on. He or she's telling us to keep dropping the price, but like, this is the price they told us. I'm not really into that."
Mhm.
Right. So I would just say, "Hey,
Mm.
I totally understand. And honestly, I'm so sorry that you're being frustrated. But let me ask you a question. If there was a way that I can make solve your pain and take your pain away, would you consider it?" Yes, you would. Okay, yeah, I would. So let me do this if you're open to it. The market has changed since you list. I would say in a good way, but there's some strategies that I would do differently on your listing to get more buyers in and to get, you sold as soon as possible while also getting you top dollar. Does that make sense? Yes. Well, if you don't mind me asking, I see the photos online, but as you know, like it's really important for me to come by the house, just like a McDonald, just like a mechanic needs to see the
Yeah.
house. I mean, just like a mechanic needs to see the car and a doctor needs to see the patient, the real estate agent needs to see the home because I just need to see the tour and the experience that buyers are getting when they're going through your house. I can tell you that I work with
Yeah.
lots of buyers and sellers, and I can tell you, where the pain points are, and I can tell you my opinion. And if you're open to that, I'd love to have the opportunity to work with you. Just getting to know you over the phone, it sounds like we're a great fit already. And I would love to meet you guys and just give you my opinion. And if you feel like I'm the right fit, I would love to get this done for you because I understand that being on the market, not getting the results you want is
Frustrating. Yeah.
yeah, no, I would say that, it does fatigue you a little bit, right? And with the holiday season coming, I would say with the holiday seasons coming, there's a lot of great things that we can do to make sure that we get you a sold before the Christmas, if you're open to it. Does that sound good? And right there, you'll lock down an appointment, 100%.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. That's a really good pitch. Never thought
Right?
of it that way. I'm definitely
Yeah,
gonna throw that angle now. Now, sorry,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure in the calls, since there are other people,
for sure. I
myself,
just
and
wanted to let you know that
being
because I feel like other people may not be asking this question, but they're
for
going to
sure.
get it if they haven't got it yet.
I was saying maybe they're gonna have the same question that I'm about to ask you, since we're in that topic.
Yes.
We're talking about the same caller, so now there's one angle to go through it, and regardless of how I try to pitch this, I'm gonna have to show up. Hopefully, that's gonna be my goal, to see them in person. So, what is the conversation like when you go in person, and what kind of material do you usually take with you?
So everyone's different, right? For
Yeah.
myself, sorry, for myself, I bring a lot of things to the appointment. So I bring three things. I bring a
Okay.
folder. Sorry, I have one here, but I have everything on it. One second.
No worries.
So, like, listen, at the end of the day, everyone has their own jams, right? But I bring like a folder which has geo, like, it's a KW folder, but I have like geo in it. So like that's the title search for people who are in the
Yeah.
States. I pull up this, I actually pay for the square footage, so I know what's the square footage exactly. Because remember, you guys have to remember, as a listing agent, the job is not just to go there and put a sale on the line on the lawn, right? What you need to
Mhm.
do is when you're doing the tour of the house. So when I go there, the first thing that I do is I go, okay, well, thank you so much for giving me a tour. Thanks so much for meeting me in person. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to see you guys here. Now, if you don't mind, like, we can get the process started. So what we can do is if someone wants to give me a tour of the house, I can let you know how good you do, and if you do really well, I might hire you on my team. So I'm already opening it up and telling them how this is going to start going, right? So then while you're getting a tour of the house, you're building relationships and you're showing your professionalism. So for example, as you go through the tour, hey, yeah, so I see that this is a 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom home from the last listing. I also noticed that you have, 21 square footage above ground and you do have a finished basement. So you're probably at like what, maybe 3,000, 3,200 square feet minus the utility room. And then
Yeah.
when you're going there, you're talking about, oh, wow, this, great, vinyl, luxury vinyl floorings that they have it, or, 9 foot ceilings, or, like great light fixtures. It's all consistent. This is what gets you more money on the marketplace, consistency. So you're going
Hmm.
through and you're showcasing your professional, you're pointing out great finishes. If they don't have great finishes, you're pointing out like the layout and opportunity that someone can call this place home and what someone could do to it. But you have to be a fine line. You don't want to say like, your house is trash and you have to renovate the whole house, right? You have to be some sort of, watching what you're saying there. But you throughout the tour, you're going through the tour to just give an idea of what it is, showing that you're an expertise because you guys got to remember most real estate agents just show up to the house with not even anything. So I bring this
Yeah,
that
that's why I
yeah.
asked.
So I have that where it's like my information and paperwork if I know that they're ready to sign or close to it. And then I bring my book. So this is my listing book that I have. So I have a listing book that just says thank you for the opportunity. And then it says, hey, a home assessment for your beautiful home. And then the next page is just talks about like I basically just say, listen, a lot of real estate agents, especially at my level, when they do so many transactions, they forget how important this is for you. I just want to let you know I'm your chauffeur in the Rolls Royce, just letting you know where you want to go. And then I pretty much go into the meat and potatoes. I tell them about my team a little bit, right? This is an older book, but I tell them about my
Mhm.
team a little bit, and then I go through the market stats. So on the market stats, I go through page 3, like if it's a detach, 3, 5,
Yeah.
7, and I bring 25. So that's on the market stat page. So 3 is just like last month's sales. 5 is year to date, and 7 is detached homes in the area year to date. So this is
Mm.
really good. At 25 is the benchmark. So that's pretty much what I'm doing when I go through these appointments. So it's really good to do that, to be honest with you. But yeah, Lath,
Appreciate
sorry, I'll just go to another person here, but that's pretty much
it.
that there, okay? And we can chat about that more later on.
Perfect. So I just wanted to actually build on that. So two questions. So first, question you kind of answered. I just want to make sure you're not going against RICO guidelines, since they reached out to you.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Second question is, let's just assuming that the current agent that they're working with overpriced the home. How would you have a conversation about possibly pricing the home a bit lower?
So this is where you don't say any of that stuff until you go through the presentation with you. So basically, like if I've gone through the presentations and I go through the comps with you, right? I would say, like, let me ask you and remember, this is the most important part. A lot of people don't even realize what the most important part is. After going through all the comps and showing them the market stats, they have a number that they want to sell their house for. And at the end of the day, like they want their number or more, or as close to it if they're off the rails, right? So basically, after all this, so it's like, okay, so yeah, after all the market stats, and after showing the comps, if you don't mind me asking, what were you hoping to see what your home was worth, or what were you hoping to get? It's like playing poker here. You want to see if they will tell them your cards. Like, if you build the relationship throughout the whole thing, and by the end of the presentation, you ask that question, they will tell you their number, right?
Okay.
Some of them who are smart are going to say, well, you know what? I don't know. That's why I was having you here. So, the reason why it's important to have their numbers to see if you can pivot if you need to, or just, help them understand why their number is probably aggressive. If someone comes too high, I don't say you're too high. I say, hey, you know what? That's a great price, but right now in this marketplace, that price point is too aggressive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
would say, and I do market value 100K range. So, if something, let's say, if they're saying their house is worth 775 in their mind, I would say, hey, you know what? Just to let you know, market value in this house is probably 675 to 775. I think that will probably be
Okay.
more so at like 775 though.
So not plus or minus 50K. You
No,
give.
I used to do that, but the market changes so much because you could come there today and you might not get the listing until a month and a half. And then they're going to hold you to that. And the most important thing to say when you're there is like, hey, remember, the real estate market is like a stock market, right? So you have to remember if this is today's number, but if the next sales, before you list are higher, that's great. That's going to help us get some good, more money. But if the numbers are lower, then it's kind of almost like an uphill battle a little bit. Not saying that we can't get you the numbers, but in real estate, everything is based on the recent comparables. And if the recent comparables are not that great, then it's going to be a harder time for us to get that number. And also another thing that we have to consider is the appraisals. If someone comes in firm or with a condition, right, we want to make sure that the appraisal is going to come in there. So that's
Okay.
another conversation. But remember, if you're having these conversations and you're already telling them what the pain part is and how to do everything, then I mean, dude, like they're trusting you and now you're
Yeah.
pretty much getting it. The thing is too, is like you don't want to give too much where now they have all this information, now they want to go somewhere. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day, but it's enough to say once you know that your point is heard, to be like, well, listen, this is my opinion. There's other strategies that I would love to do and tell you. But in order to do that, we need to start working together.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Does that
Thank you.
sound good? And like, yeah, like don't make it awkward. Remember, people don't know how things go. And if you make it awkward, they're going to feel awkward, right? And a trial close after all that is like, well, you know what? Are you, a trial close could be like, so this is kind of what we gone through. I'm ready to get started. Are you ready to move forward? Do you see how like easy that was? And
Yeah.
how many times people just said, yeah, okay, cool. Then you whip out the paperwork and you get it done. And that's why it's important to bring paperwork. Sure, it's extra printing, but if you think that you'll get it done at that point, then it's good to get the paperwork because by the time you leave and you send them the DocuSign, things could change.
Yeah. And for paperwork, do you just bring a listing agreement or do you bring like the RICO guy, everything?
to get signed, right? So in where we are, it's RICO guideline, which is the 13 pages. You
I'm
bring
in Ottawa, so it's same as
yeah, same thing. So RICO guideline, you bring the two MLS listing pages. So I think it's Form 200. So it's like you want to get one signed for exclusive, one signed for the MLS. Then you bring the data form, and then I also have other things. Like I have like a listing information sheet. So I'm going to go down after you. What I start with is I start taking all the information of the property first. So I go with the listing information sheet. Okay, so when was the roof done? When was, the hot water tank done? When was the rentals on the property? When was the AC done? When was the furnace done? I go through that, so it's like an entertainment, like not entertainment, but it's back and forth. And now they feel even more comfortable to get paperwork done. And then I'm literally getting all the paperwork done there. What's most important is that when you print out your listing paperwork, you already have your pre-printed commission already on there. You're not writing it in. You're writing it. It's printed like this. This is what it is. Because when you write it in, people are going to think it's negotiable.
Yeah.
Steve, your turn, buddy.
Yeah, just real quick. Actually, I had like two questions, but one is I guess related to what you mentioned on your conversation. It's like a pageant show, yeah, and you have to stand out in a market like this for sure. So I was just curious, are you kind of securing your marketing funds? Like, let's say the house doesn't sell for whatever reason, are you kind of putting that in the contract to protect yourself and at least get some money back? Or are you just like taking the hit?
So it's a risk, right? So the reason why I'm getting my money or my commission is because at the end of the day, I'm putting the money out, right? So if and this is a great way to keep your money in to get the listing done. So at the end of the day, when you're spending money on a listing and you think that the house is between 700 to 800 and you truly believe that, it's not really a risk because you know what market value is, right? So a great way that I'm explaining people, let's just save 5%. So, hey, when we're getting to the commission part, so remember, in Ontario, right, you have to pay for the buyer's commission. So the buyer's commission is 2.5%. That is market value. I wouldn't suggest going lower because unfortunately, I'm not one of these agents, but there are agents who will not showcase the property if they're not getting their market rate. And I can understand why, because some people, they're not working in one day and putting an offer in. They probably work months or if not years on the client to now make a move, right? So they want to get their market rate, which is fair. So I wouldn't say that that's negotiable. Now, 2.5 covers my cost. What do I take care of? I take care of, hey, housemongers, can you just put it on mute? Actually, I can. So there we go. So basically, what do I provide? I provide a surface cleaning because like if we list on a Thursday, everything happens so fast that my job is to take stress off you, right? And to make the process as easy as possible. And we got to make sure that everything looks really, really good for photos because since COVID, everyone shops online. Right? So we need to make sure that everything looks crisp, right? Because that's what's getting people in the door. So we provide a surface clean. We also provide a staging consult and then staging. And our staging is not just staging. It's actually a good look. If you looked at my listings, as I showed you in our presentation, we have a look to our listings. And that's why our listings are selling more and getting more traction than the average listing. Okay. So then we also provide premium photography and drone. So we're really big into content. So we're going to create a coming soon video. This coming soon video will get you anywhere between 10 to 25K views in 4 days. Okay. Now, other than that, we do have a branded tour where I talk about it. That goes on YouTube. But where we're getting most of our views is a lifestyle video. The lifestyle video is to showcase how people are going to live in the home. So let me ask you a question. When someone's looking at a video online, if they're just looking at a house, that's nice, that's cool, right? They'll like it. But if I'm creating a vision of the house and how people are going to live there, and I'm creating that emotional connection, who do you think is A, going to want to book a showing to the property? Now, B, who do you think is going to want the house really, really? Because now I've got them to envision inside their house, which basically means they want the house, which means that they'll give us more money. Who do you think is going to give us more money? Right. So I do that. And then I also do premium photography. As you can tell with our photos, they're not edited from one room to the other. And you can tell they're consistent, very, bringing a lot of light to the unit. And based on my photography and my vendors, we will get you more showings. Right. And then you go through all that. Right. So, I don't even get, obviously there's cheap people, let them be cheap. They get cheap results. Right. And I also tell them this too. Listen, at the end of the day, when you're selling a house, there's two options. Do you want to save the money on commission or do you want to get top dollar for your asset? Are you going to be worrying about the $5,000-$6,000, which, hey, don't get me wrong, I understand that's a lot of money, but are you going to be worrying about the $5,000-$6,000 or are you going to be worrying about not giving your budget the $5,000-$6,000 to spend on your house to make 20, 30, or maybe 50 grand more? What is better math to you? What is the better return? I can tell you that I pay for myself on my end because of the way I negotiate and the way that I present the property. Also, too, if you take on a lower agent who's doing lower commission, remember they're offering you lower commission because which remember 5% is standard. If they're giving you 3.5 or 4% and they're not really including much, let me ask you a question. How do you think that if they can't negotiate their standard rate and the only way that you're picking them is because they're basically giving you a cashed incentive to say, hey, use me? Now let's step back here. If someone's only giving me a cash incentive, that means that they can't compete with someone on that level. So they have to incentivize you on saving money and using less, but you're not getting the same result. And also, when you get a low offer, what do you think that they're going to say? They're going to say you should take it. Where if I get a low offer, I'm going to say, well, I don't think that this is a great offer. I mean, here's the comps in the area. Here's what I suspect. Here's the finishes that we have compared to the last recent comps. And this is why we are getting this money. Hey, if you're tight on your budget, no problem. Maybe you're not the buyer for us. Right. But
Yep.
as you can see, as you're giving me commission objections, do you see how I'm handling the objection? So how do you think I'm going to negotiate to get you more money? I'm not going to drop my pants. I'm classy. So I make a joke out of it, but like, this is where you're going with it. And people and then what I say to finish that is like, don't you want a representation like me who's going to fight for you? Or do you want someone to roll over? I don't roll over. I'm a bulldog. I get it done. I'm ready to move forward. Are you? Perfect. You know what I'm saying? So These are all the things that I do in these appointments that makes the difference. And that's why I'm, getting it done. Obviously, you're not going to get everybody, unfortunately, as much as we know that we should get everybody, but it comes down to the way that you connect to people. I've been on hundreds of listing appointments. The difference is connecting with them, showcasing that you do a good job and not saying too much. Obviously, it's hard in certain scenarios, but everyone has different needs.
The other second question I had was I got a recent small rejection. Not rejection.
No, I get it. Don't worry, bro.
Anyway, so she mentioned the only way she'll relist the home, this is an expired listing. The only way she'll list the home is when they finally build out the development for a hospital. And I was like, it caught me off guard because I was like, well, how do I get around that? So I'm supposed to have a phone call soon.
I'll tell you. Okay, so hey, I understand that you're waiting for the hospital, but let me be honest with you. Do you know how long the hospital is going to take to build? Remember, there's a planning process, and then there's a build process, and then construction takes long. And as you and I both know, construction always has delays and contingencies. So, something that could be a 3 or 4 year out could be a 7-8 year out. Haven't you not seen anything in the area where they've said they built it and they'll build it really shortly and it's been delayed? So the question is, do you want to miss timing in the marketplace where the market's going to pay you top dollar rather than just waiting for this hospital? Right. And I think it's really important for you to also ask, you have to ask why people are selling, right? If they're selling because of a certain reason, well, hey, listen, based on our conversation and our relationship, it says, it's great to wait for these things, but, we're going to miss some timing in the marketplace that's going to pay us better than what might pay us when the hospital arrives. And the other thing as well, too, is that you told me that you want to get out in 3 years or less because of something. So my job as your real estate agent is to find the best timing in that timeline for you to get the most amount of money. Isn't that right? So when do you want to move forward?
Cool.
So people are going to throw bullshit at you, right? But you have to go through the reasoning with it. And then, you have to also go through, okay, well, you did tell me that you didn't want to wait that long. So why are you going to wait long for something that we don't know? What I learn is that I can go based on the information today. Let's say when the hospital comes, something happens in the marketplace and now values are not as high as what it is. If you could have the opportunity to sell it 3 years ago.
Property taxes go up because of that development.
Possibly, but right?
Yeah, we don't know.
Could we predict what COVID brought and what it did to the marketplace? No. So how can we predict these things? Sure. Will it be a benefit? Yeah. But is it a slam dunk? Can't say it is.
That's true.
And that's when you have to find out in that conversation before that why they're moving. Why do they want to do this? Okay, well, you're in a 2-story looking for a bungalow. Well, right now in the marketplace, you can get some pretty good stuff that, won't cost you as much or maybe the same money, right? If you wait for the hospital, that can change. right? And let me show you some opportunities that are available now. And if you're open to it, if you like some of them, let's go take a tour just so you get more information to see if it's the right time for you. I'm here for the relationship. I'm going to make sure that when we do this, that I'm going to do the best job for you. I'm going to negotiate hard, and I'm going to sell you as much money as possible for your home. And I'm also going to get you the best competitive price on your house. So let's go see things. You're in the information stage. Let's go take a look.
Cool. All right,
Yeah.
man. Thank you. That helps a lot.
Get it done, bro.
Thanks.
All right, let's go, Lath.
Sorry, I know we're out of time. Just a quick question.
Yep.
In your region, have you noticed if the winter season's been slowing things down? Because I've had a few clients where I've done the in person. They come back to me and they just don't want to move. They don't want the hassle of moving in the winter. So
I totally
they're
understand.
like
So
moving.
I would say that, like, yes, the winter months are moving. Like right now, more than right now, compared to the last few months, we've been seeing a lot more multiple offers. I've been seeing 100, 200K selling over asking. So that's good. And hey, if you're worried about moving in the wintertime, what we can do is we can get a longer closing date to help us. I mean, at the end of the day, what's more important to you? Getting cold while you're moving or selling for more money? What would you prefer? Right now, if you're looking to get more money, now's the time. We can just do a longer closing date. And we live in Canada. Who knows when it snows?
That's
Like
true.
it's supposed to be January, February, March, but now we're not getting snow until March, April. So I have no friggin' idea.
True.
And it comes down to what's important to them. They don't care. This is all bullshit reasons. They just want a reason to get you off the phone or a reason to delay the process. But if there's a true reason to delay, great. But if there's not, then you have to entice them with the money on the market that can be made. Or like making it easy. Everyone has different needs. You just have to, and that's why it's important to ask questions so you can figure out and pivot where you need to pivot. Everyone is different. Everyone is their own puzzle. So you need to pivot the way that is the best way to get you a victory.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But it sounds like we've had a great call here today, and it looks like a lot of people got value. So I hope everyone is going to take some of these kind of strategies and implement them on their call. Also too, I do have one-on-one coaching. So if you guys are interested in that, I can definitely help you skip through the 2 or 3 months of the dry spell to get you winning right away. But I think everyone had a great time on this call. I know I did. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But good luck to everyone.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thanks, man.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye, guys.
One thing, Nick, can you put some information about your one-on-one call coaching just to be on the safe side? Can you link that or no?
Yeah. So ask Michelle or Eto, I believe, because they'll give us more information. Because we're running just an exclusive kind of help for it. Because we've noticed that some people want to get ahead faster. Because I know I did, and in real estate, unfortunately, if we want to get ahead, it's a pay-to-play sport, right? So if someone has so much experience, you have to also, figure out what that is worth. And if someone is winning on the platform, then it's kind of figuring it out. It's not something that's going to break the bank or anything like that, but we're working on it as it's a pilot system. So see what Michelle and Eto says. And then if you're open to that, I'd love to help you get winning right away.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. I'll let them know though. Okay. Okay. Bye.